Good afternoon and welcome to Fast Break. Ray Halbrook here with live stream STL Media. Hope everybody's having a great afternoon here. We are ready to rock and roll with another episode 3 of Fast Break. And I'm going to turn it over. I'll do my 30-second speech. Ray Halbrook, live stream STL owner here, yada, yada, yada. You know who I am. Kicking it over to the guys here real quick. We've got new hosts, so to speak, I guess, if you want to call it new hosts. And let me get in the three musketeers here. Scotty, the Beak, or I should say Scotty the Freak, Drake the Beak, and B-Cap, Mr. Kaplinger. And so I'm going to kick it over here to Scotty. Scotty's going to give us our 30-second elevator speech.
You said that whole thing about hosts. I started having an Invasions of the Body Snatcher kind of vibe going on. I'm like, whoa. So I'm Scott. I've got a podcast called The Freak Show. I play quite a bit of softball. I pay a lot of bills. I got 2 cats, and I like hanging out with the live stream guys.
Nice. Bringing it over to Drake.
Yeah, I'm Drake. I'm just kind of here. I got to say, I feel like I'm as far as looks go, I'm the least prepared because Brian and Scott, I got all kinds of paper right here, and I've got all this stuff on my phone here, but there's just one little phone compared to all this, and I'm a little nervous, I'm a little underprepared, but I'm happy to be here, and like Scott said, I pay a lot of bills, and I'm happy to be here with y'all.
There you go. B-Cap.
Yeah, I'd try not to pay a lot of bills, but no, it's all good.
Must be nice.
Yeah, I mean, for me, just, love being a part of this team, love just celebrating the young athletes that we get an opportunity to do, love sports, and so, I guess a lot of people will say it's second nature for me to just talk about it, so here I am. Let's talk about some sports.
Yes, and before we get started real quick, we're going to let everybody know, we've got a couple questions for you out there in the audience. Be sure to put your comments out there. Any upcoming matchup interests that you guys are interested in looking at? Could be your local school, could be, somebody else's team, whatever. Put that in the comments. Let us know. And then also, what games have you enjoyed so far? And we're going to definitely talk about last night's game, but that is a first half of an absolute thriller. But throw that also in the comments as well. So we'll bring those up and give you a little shout out as well. So let's talk a little bit about maybe last night's game briefly before we get into Jeffco Hoops. And guys, your thoughts. I know Drake and I were on the call, but golly, overtime thriller there. Hillsboro beating Festus at their place. So and they've got to go back there now. They got to go back home.
10 days.
Yeah. So there you go. But real quick thoughts there, Drake.
Yeah, I said it on the stream last night. Being a Crystal City alum, it was definitely the most energetic and biggest crowd and energy and everything I'd seen there. The biggest takeaway for me from that game was going into it, Festus was undefeated in conference play, and they had already beat Windsor once. So if they were able to beat Hillsboro in that first meeting, they were pretty solidified in that driver's seat of taking that conference title, but obviously Hillsboro beats them last night. So now it's a 3-way race just like it was a couple of weeks ago. Those 3 teams, I think all 3 of them still have to play each other one more time, I believe. Mm-hmm. So these next few games for both of those is going to be really exciting. But great game last night, instant classic, overtime thriller. It was a lot of fun.
How about the atmosphere last night? I mean, standing room only, I got people over my back, over my shoulder, watching what we're doing and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun, but I was just like, oh Lord, just let's keep everything together here. I just hope we can work it out here. But cool stuff. But we call this episode 3 Winter Breeze. And why did we do that there, Matt or Scott? He's still trying to think.
Winter Breeze, and then obviously, we cover, local Jefferson County, and there is a significant breeze blowing through Jefferson R7 these days.
There is.
So that's kind of why we settled
Stay
on it.
tuned
as
we'll
the follow-up to last week's Hiltonsboro episode. Stick around.
So you go. Stay tuned for why we called it Winter Breeze. Let's talk a little bit about some Jeffco Hoops.
I was going to make a Viking noise, but I'm not sure what that scream sounds like.
I mean, you got the horn, I don't know.
The Viking horn.
But that's Minnesota. That's a watered-down Viking. I'm talking like a true Viking.
Yeah,
right.
You'd have to have just some kind of
screeches and
Jeff White will
scream
have
from
that
the
for
depths
us.
of your
Yes.
lungs. Yeah.
And shout out to Mr. Jeff Whitener
Yes.
back on the sidelines.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Good to have him back in action.
Yes. Let's talk Jeffco Hoops. What do you got there for us, Scotty?
All right, so we always start with the ladies. Obviously, the women's program, their regular season ends on the 23rd of this month. They are right now, I have them at 13-6, 1-1 in conference. Right now, the MAC, Mineral Area College, leads the women's. They're 20-1, so they're going to win the conference.
Yeah,
There's
they're
nothing
rocking.
to do to eclipse them.
They're rocking.
Jeffco's got 7 games left. They could possibly win between 15 and 18 games depending on how this last handful of games plays out. They have 9 freshmen, so they've got a great future ahead of them. But obviously, the conversation with them begins and starts with Jacayla Kirk.
Agreed.
So last 4 games, they've alternated wins and losses. They lost to Mineral Area. They beat John A. Logan. They lost to North Central, and then they beat Metropolitan Community College. But they do have an upcoming rematch against Mineral Area College,
Yes, they do.
which could be good or could be bad.
You never know.
Yes.
You definitely never know.
Once you play a team and then you kind of get a feel for what they do, then, you can kind of leverage your strengths a little bit, but then also what adjustments do they make to you.
By the way, we completely forgot about this. We are here at Case and Bucks. We're back at Case and Bucks, and thank Jeff Fitter and the great folks over here at Case and Bucks for allowing us back again. They had a little snafu 3 weeks ago, I guess it was. They had a water main break, so this place was like completely flooded. But to have it come back and have it all cleaned up and be ready to rock and roll, and it's starting to fill up here. So if you haven't ever been back here to Case and Bucks, check it out. It's over in Barnhart.
And
so
if you're wondering if their fryer is working,
the fryer's working. Oh my
get you some
goodness! Look at those
trashed
wings.
wings.
right.
I'm going to have
beautiful.
some of those a little
Smells
later.
really
Those
good.
are beautiful.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. So sorry to break up the monotony. So proceed with the Jeffco talk.
Do we have some stats that we can
We
put
do.
up on Miss Jacayla Kirk?
Yeah, let's do that.
She may be up near the top. Oh, wait. She is at the top.
Right.
Points
Just about
per game,
everything.
points, field goals, and then in field goal percentage, she's top 5.
Yep.
That's not too shabby. What would you guys say?
I'd say, I guess we'll take it. Pretty good. I wanted to go. They've won 13 and they still have 7 games to go in the regular season.
Correct.
Who says that they can't win all 7 of them and get to 20 wins?
That's right.
Why are we limiting them to 15 to 18?
They do have Mineral Area College on there, and Mineral Area College has
but-
only lost 1 game.
Right.
Well, but you said they've already played them, so they know
True.
what to do. They know how to beat them now.
I think they only lost that game by 15. So, you could make some adjustments, and it was a road game.
I thought you were
So-
about to say 50. I would have immediately retracted my statement.
But like I said, anything could happen. But I'm thinking realistically, I think, you got 13 now. You got 7 games left. Yeah, you could, in theory, run the table, get to 20. It's kind of a big ask.
Right.
Coach Walker has done amazing things. Obviously, his assistant coach. And who is that, Ray?
Assistant coach? Oh, that's Precious Roberts.
Yeah, she has also done a wonderful job. These two, working in tandem with this squad, they have them primed possibly to make a deep run in the tournament.
Yeah, no, it's really good. Yeah, if they're going to end up getting 15 to 18 wins there, like you said, that adds up to somewhere between 8 and 11 losses, I think, on the season. So having that kind of record at the end of the season is definitely a good sign of things to come. And like you said, especially coming into the postseason here, should be fun for them.
Right, and you said it right off the beginning, though, Scott, too. They're a younger team, and so I think to ask them to necessarily run the table here to close out might be a little much because they're still learning. They're still growing a little bit in the process. You've got someone like Jacayla Kirk who is leading the way. Being able to watch her live is fun, and so I'd recommend to anybody, if you haven't made it out to one of their games, get out there, watch them, because it's different live in person. And if you can't, always catch them on the stream. But watching her play and just her ability not only to be kind of like that court manager for the team and bringing everybody together on top of just leading in these areas, really speaks to her and her character. And not to be outdone, I'm always one that looks for somebody else. But on this list, you also see Sydney Burris, who's another just standout for them. She's like their 6th woman coming off that bench and just really provides that spark and keeps the flow going. And so, I'm looking forward to see how they finish. I'm with Scott. I think they can make a really deep run, to to tip the scales and get to the top is going to be a little bit much for me. But I love what CB Walker's doing there and the program that he's built there with these amazing young ladies.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a quick interview with Precious Roberts, and we'll get to that here in just a second. Thanks so much for having her on, and she's just an awesome little gal and just a spark plug for the ladies. Great assistant coach, great pickup here for CB Walker and the Lady Vikings.
Welcome back to Fresh Break here. This is Ray Halbrook here, and we're with Precious Roberts from the Lady Vikings over at Jefferson College. How you doing, Precious?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Real good, real good. You know, not a lot of folks might know too much about Precious, but I know a lot about her because we've covered her not only just as a coach, but also as a player in the ABA. As a former player, Precious, how's your game and team experiences helped prepare you for coaching?
Really being a player's coach, that's my biggest thing. Just having that experience as a player myself has been huge to being a coach. Having that early leadership role as being a captain on my team, and just being able to apply those skills to these young players as well too. You know, they just want somebody to be relatable to. So
I get it. That's the easiest way to get yourself the most experience too. You know, the Jeffco basketball program, they're really having a pretty solid season. Even beginning as late last season, I've kind of caught on to that. In your opinion, has there been a signature win or a most satisfying victory up to this point?
Yes, I would have to say when we got our 10th win for the season, that was pretty big for us. Just due to the fact that it was better than what we did last year. And
Sure.
The goal is always to be better and to continue to keep growing as a team, you know, as a coaching staff and as players individually. So, you know, that's our biggest thing. That had to be a pretty good win, pretty good sweet spot for us.
Absolutely. During your career as a player and now a coach, who have been some of the most influential people on playing style and your philosophy?
I would have to say Aja Wilson. As a player, I love her tenacity. I love how aggressive she is when it comes to playing this game. How passionate she is as well too. So that's what I would have to say as far as player ability. Just bringing that type of grit to the court. When it comes to the philosophy, it has to be more so. I have to roll with Don Staley. I just love the way she coaches, her style, how she pushes her players to be better. That's something that I try to do myself when it comes to teaching these young adults, just getting them really where they need to go and being able to see the growth from when they came in, how they started, until, you know, of course, how they end the season. So yeah, I would definitely have to say those two are my biggest fans. I'm a big fan of them.
Excellent. As the regular season leads up to the postseason here, what will be the keys for the Lady Vikings to make a deep run in the tournament this year?
Honestly, it's simple. Playing team basketball. That's one of the biggest things we preach about. That's one of the biggest things we talk about in practice, in game times. Playing as a team and just being able to believe what we can do as a team to be able to get the goal that we're looking for towards the end of the season. So that's our biggest thing. It's real simple, but I'm telling you, it gets the job done. We play as a team. That's when we play our best basketball.
Absolutely. Final question for you, we'll let you go. Can you talk a little bit about your role, your faith has played in your basketball career?
Absolutely. To be honest with you, I'm actually living in one of my faith goals, I guess I could say. I prayed about this position, and I'm thankful that I'm here. And just being here has really been like a life changer for me. As a coach, you know, as an individual, I'm learning so many different things from CB, Coach Walker. He's been an excellent leader, I can honestly say. So, you know, just being here in this moment is really a faith moment for me. Just really trying to see where else I can go, you know, moving forward. So yeah, plays a huge role.
Excellent. We appreciate the time catching up with you, and I know you got a little bit more of the regular season here, but good luck to you the rest of the way.
Oh yeah, of course. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. It was good talking to you too. Man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Precious Roberts from the Lady Vikings over at Jefferson College.
Not a bad little interview there from Precious Roberts. One of those unsung heroes that's kind of sits in the background, and man, but I tell you what, she can outwork every single one of those kids. And I mean, I don't know how old she is, but I mean, she is a fireball and such a great mentor, I think, to all the kiddos there. But as we switch from Lady Vikings basketball, let's go over to the men, to the gentlemen. And the men right now, that's the ladies Vikings one. The men, they are 7-12 on the season right now. And Scott, let's get that kicked off and talk a little bit about that.
Okay. The men coming in at 7-12. I believe they're on a 4-game losing streak. They are 0-3 in the conference. Stop me if you've heard this. The conference champion most likely will be Mineral Area College. Although they're 3-0, and then Moberly Area Community College is 16-4 and 4-1. So there's an outside chance they could, with 9 games going in the schedule, something could switch up there. But, just going to do the chalk here. I'm just going to bet the chalk. Leading scorers, Jalen Boyd, he's 5th in the conference. Gabe Watkins, number 25, and then Cole Rickerman, number 27. If you, eat the stats, if you're one of those kind of people, the Lady Vikings have 3 top 10 scorers. The Vikings men's only have 1 in the top 10. Mm-hmm. And that's basically probably why you're seeing the difference, inverted in the schedule, in the record, I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys?
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to watch, the men play a couple times, and I think they're just kind of really trying to feel themselves out. Again, we're talking younger team in that regard. Some of the players that are getting some key minutes really are players that are just stepping out of the high school field of basketball. And so this is when you're in a collegiate, even at this level, it's different. Learning how to play as a teammate, learning how to play the game where, maybe in high school you were the top player on your team. That's not necessarily the case here. And so they're kind of feeling themselves out a little bit. I'm excited where this team has the opportunity to go. Again, talking about CB Walker and what he's able to build. They are making progress. They are taking steps. I've seen, the last few games, their games are getting closer. Yeah. They're not getting just kind of like run off the court, so to speak. They're in these games, and sometimes it's just, some small mental mistakes that they just can't overcome is really what's costing them some of those games. And as they fix that, they're going to be a tough team to play, and I think that's really the goal coming down at the end of this season is you just become that gritty team, that fighting team, that every team that comes in to play you, man, they know they're playing you, and it's going to be a difficult win for them.
Right. I mean, I'll tell you this. The funny thing about this is it's playing out a lot like last season with the girls. CB only had the girls last season. This season here, the guys look like they're about to, get poured into that same mold to where, girls kind of had a rough beginning of the season, but man, they almost won the Region 16 tournament last year. And that's saying something, to be able to quickly turn that around. Right. I'm not saying that could possibly happen here because, you've got some really good teams here on the men's side that it's a different monster. I think
this is more of a foundation year. You've got 8 freshmen.
Right.
And there are some positives. For a first-year program, they won back-to-back games in November and in December. Mm-hmm. There's some programs who don't win games.
Right.
Games, plural.
Right.
I get it.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, awesome. And also you got to kind of mention the little bit, they lost one of their leading scorers in Kate Harmon.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously that was some production you had to replace. And then they did have their match against the MAC, which was a blowout in favor of Mineral Area. But even in stuff like that, they will take all of this in, and then Coach Walker, like you said, next year they're set up to just go up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we're going to take a break here real quick and come back with some high school hoops and lots to talk about, lots of things panning out, changes in the guard, so to speak. So we'll step aside for just a quick second. This is Fast Break. We'll be right back.
Hey, y'all, it's Jeff from Case and Bucks. Thanks for watching the games today. We appreciate all your business all year long. Don't forget, we've got awesome wings. We got amazing burgers. We got salads like you wouldn't believe. Come check us out. We have barbecue on Thursdays. We have Southern Nights on Wednesdays. We've got bingo on Tuesdays. We can't wait to see you all. Thanks a bunch, and we look forward to having a great summer with y'all.
The Jefferson County Tourism Commission invites you to explore the natural beauty, fine dining, parks, wineries and breweries, scenic drives, historic sites, and even a local raceway. All this and so much more. All these things can be found right here in Jefferson County, Missouri. Plan your trip today at visitjeffersoncounty.com, the main source for all things Jefferson County.
We are back here with our next segment. We're going to talk a little bit of some high school hoops. We are excited about some high school hoops here. Lots of great games coming up. Lots of great games that just happened. We talked about that a little bit here. Before we get started to that, if you got any upcoming interests, put it in the comments out there on Facebook. We'll give you a little shout out. Also, what games have you seen and enjoyed so far? Obviously, other than last night's game we've already talked about. But gentlemen, let's dive into some high school hoops. And Scotty, let's start here with the Jefferson County Small School standings. This is for the ladies. And St. Pius X right now in the lead here. They're 4-0 in the league. Jefferson sitting there right next to them, undefeated as well, 3-0 in the league. But some interesting records there, and you kind of see the trail off and the jump off there for a lot of the other teams. But thoughts about the record and where things are headed right now for the lady small schools?
Well, I think if you look at Pius sitting up there at 4-0 in the conference, and if you do the math, there should only be one more conference game for them.
Yep.
And I'm going to guess it's against Jefferson.
It is.
So
and we'll be there for that game.
That could possibly get Jefferson either a share of the title or have them out in the cold.
Yep, I think that's exactly what it's going to come down to. You know, Jefferson looking there, they've probably got at least two more games here. So one, I believe, could be St. Vincent. I'm not sure. Could be Crystal too, but I'm not sure if they've played each other yet or not. But don't have the schedule in front of me. But my thoughts on the thing, it's going to come down to Pius and Jefferson. So may the best team win on that one there. Drake.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say as far as the girls' side. I haven't really seen a whole lot of them, unfortunately. But, I mean, when you look at it purely on conference-wise, yeah, I mean, so long as Jefferson wins their game in hand, that final game against Pius there, that's going to be the biggest one. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's both boys and girls varsity.
They're back-to-back
that
games.
night.
Yeah.
And we'll get to the guys, obviously, in a second. But I think both of those games have the opportunity to be for the conference. So you want to talk about biggest game of the season, it's going to come down to that night.
He's trying to do a segue, but we're not there yet. Plus, I'm just going to point this out real quick here. I'm going to show you the preparedness of Brian Kaplinger to my right over here. Oh, my goodness. He's got papers. Now, I've got a script here. Here's the script, and he's got the script too, but he's got like everything else. And Drake's over there on his phone with everything.
Hey,
Come on, man.
I've got stuff.
He's the tech guy.
Come on,
he's
man.
teching it out.
He's got young eyes.
right.
He can do
Well,
the phone thing.
That's
I
right.
need it much larger.
Right.
Here's the glasses, all
I
of
knew
that.
that you
I'd be
all
like,
would need
hold
some
on,
space.
hold on.
Yeah, I knew you needed your space, so I just condensed.
All
and
right.
we'll move
All
on.
right. There you go. Let's talk about large school standings here. Hillsboro in the driver's seat, pretty much. I think they with the win.
Is this the girls?
This is the girls.
So this is Hiltonsboro?
Hiltonsboro.
Yes,
It
pretty
is
much.
Hiltonsboro.
Okay.
Yeah. With the win Thursday night, they can at least tie. They've got one more game, I believe, with Perryville, and if they tie or win that game, they're done. It's a done deal. They've got the JCAA conference. But the worst that they can do is tie with Perryville. If Perryville would beat them, so they would be co-champs.
I'm sure Coach Hubbard will have them well prepared.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I've had the privilege this year. I've seen them a number of times, kind of up close and personal in that regard. And, I mean, to say the least, a dominant team so far, at least in this point. They're very well coached, well balanced.
Yes.
And so,
Talented, too.
you
Really talented.
Right. You talk about the Hilton sisters. I mean, they do their work, but it's not at, the expense of everybody else on the team. I mean, they've got a lot of stars on that team, and I think being that well-rounded is really what you're seeing the success here play out. I mean, 18-2 overall has been big, and then they're running into teams like Festus, which Festus is a great young team. I mean, they've got a couple seniors, but they've also got a couple sophomores and Olivia Madden and Addison Smith that are really starting to pick up some steam. And so I'm really interested to see kind of how the games edge out as the end of the season comes, and even getting into some of this league play, tournament style later in the season.
Yeah. What about you two?
I don't know if I could have said it better myself.
What he said.
Yeah. Ditto. I get it. No, the biggest thing that I continue to talk about is speed.
Yeah.
You have most of your large school teams here in Jefferson County at about 35 miles an hour, where Hillsboro's at 55.
Oh, easy.
And that's that's testament to being able to trust each other, being able to know where everybody is at the same time, and make sure you're all on the same page. So,
Could you put that graphic up one more time for the ladies?
Yeah, sure.
Because you look at Perryville sitting at 4-1,
Right.
Windsor, Festus. I mean, you've got some very solid programs. Even Greenville down there at 13-9.
Right.
I mean, this isn't a walk in the
Greenville,
park.
I'm just going to put a little disclaimer. I should have cut Greenville out, because see that says South Central standings. We get these stats and these records from STL Today, and somehow, some way, Greenville. I don't know how that. I mean, Greenville's way down by Clearwater, So
yeah,
it's
but
just
I mean, look at they're 13-9.
down by Piedmont,
so
I mean,
you still got to
come
give
on,
them their props.
Hey, 13-9 at 4-2, they're looking pretty
That's
good,
right.
right?
That's right.
Bring them right on up here into this conference, But no, should be the Jefferson County standings, and that is definitely a misnomer.
But I mean,
snafu.
you look at those top four. I mean, there's not a cupcake in there.
No, you're right. I mean, could have went anywhere. I mean, don't count Windsor out for being spoiler.
Right.
So I mean, great coach. Festus, I think Festus surprised people this year. Jake Hogan, brand new coach over there, taking over for Coach McFarland, and completely changing some things around. He's going to have some good kiddos coming up the ranks. So in the next couple of years here. So I'm excited to see what Jake's got going on. Jake's done a couple of games with us down the road, in the last couple of seasons here, and excited for him. So, kudos to the Festus and Jake Hogan over there. All right, let's move over to the gentlemen. Boys small school. This is what it looks like here. Jefferson in the driver's seat right now, but St. Pius is right there, 2-0 as well. St. Vincent 1-1. Herculaneum did get a win last night, so they are 1-2. They beat your Grandview Eagles on a buzzer beater last night by Tanner Duncan.
Hurtful.
Just had to be like that.
Sorry, I had to be that way. I had to go down that
You
road.
could have just said they got a victory. You didn't have to go into the details.
I'm sorry. T. Dunk at it again. That's all I got to say.
Sure, Mama Dunk was like,
Mama
yeah.
Dunk was probably proud. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like it's coming down to Jefferson and St. Pius, and we'll have that game here on Livestream STL along with the girls before this game.
Haven't seen a lot of Pius this year, but obviously we've seen, the Breeze crew quite a bit, and they are a delight to watch. I mean, I don't know how many players they run deep, but their starting five are excellent, and they still have like 3 or 4 more that could start on another squad coming off their bench.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
we saw Pius at the tournament over there in Herky a couple of weeks ago. They played Northwest in the third place game, I believe.
Correct.
Right?
No. I take that back.
Well, it was Windsor and Northwest for the championship.
It was
wasn't
Windsor Northwest.
So it was Pacific they played.
Yeah.
And the 1-2 with Whitman and Flanagan, they're really fun to watch. They, especially Whitman, he's big enough he can just kind of have his way in the paint and do whatever he wants. So he's a fun team to watch. That's definitely going to be one of the games of the season, and we're lucky enough to stream it. So will be a lot of fun.
Got anything from BB Cap?
I mean, I haven't had the opportunity to see the guys quite as much, like on the flip side of here, Drake. But, being able to be around Jefferson a little bit, watching Breeze obviously get his big night just a little less than a week ago. was fun to watch. And just the thing that stood out to me was just their fast pace. They're always looking to push the ball forward. Like, they don't sit, and I don't think a lot of teams, can prepare for the speed. You talked about it. And then not only that, Scott, the depth, because once their 6th, 7th, 8th guy comes in, they don't really drop off a lot. And that's what's presenting a lot of challenges, I think, for a lot of these other teams. You talk about Whitman, top 11 in rebounds, his size for St. Pius there. I mean, that's where the matchup's going to be, is can his size slow down some of the speed.
Right. Good stuff. Do we need to move on?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate that. Here we go. We have the large school standings right here. Festus now 5-1. Hillsboro now 4-1. And you got Windsor smack dab in the middle there. DeSoto and Perryville having a little less likeliness to do much with the Jefferson County Conference, but we'll give them kudos for ease for effort. So, but yeah, it's a big 3 there. I mean, you could technically see Festus and Hillsboro split. I think Windsor's pretty much, they got at least one more game where they could go 4-2. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to get the conference, but they could definitely, make some havoc. And
so Festus lost last night.
Stuff. Yeah, Festus
so they're 5-1.
Yes.
Correct.
They have a rematch coming up in 9 days against Hillsboro.
Correct.
So, I mean, if we're just being goofy here, I mean, you could say potentially, I mean, some things would have to fall weirdly, but you could have a 3-way tie at the top.
Yes.
If Windsor runs the table.
Possibly.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Because Windsor still has, I'm looking at it now, Windsor still has 3 games left for their conference. They've got Festus, Perryville, and DeSoto. You would think, based on records, that Perryville and DeSoto, they should get wins there. And so that game against Festus is going to be huge for them. Obviously, the Festus-Hillsboro second game for them.
Right.
And, yeah, it's coming down to the wire, and it's everything that you hope for.
Last night's game, I mean, it's just a precursor to the grand finale over at Hillsboro.
You were talking about speed and 35. They were at like 85
Yeah,
miles an hour
both teams are, definitely had the nitrous going last night. We talked a little bit about the game late, and if I remember right, Festus came in there with a great game plan to, shut a few things down that Hillsboro likes to do. But they got away from it there towards the end of that game. And, Hayden Bates, God love the kid. He has done so much, to keep these guys undefeated up until last night. I think I did hear he was sick last night. Going into the game like that sick. Still throwing up 22
points.
I don't like the way you phrased that.
Yeah. What?
Putting up 20, not throwing up.
Throwing up sick, yeah.
Where's my sound effect? Okay. Putting on like the sick Jordan game last night, he had a heck of a game. But I think, you get to a situation where too many games to where you feel like you got to put the team on your back. You got to be careful with that because you've got to be able to, at the same time, still be able to show a little bit of that leadership and say, I can do this. Everybody knows I can do it, but you can do it too. And I made the comment late in the game last night because I kind of felt like he was out of gas. I said, maybe use Hayden Bates as a decoy and try to do something different. They've got other shooters out there. Roth can shoot the ball. You've got Johnson can shoot the ball. You've got other kids. Maybe give that one up and say, okay, because then it gets Hillsboro thinking like, who are they going to go to? It's not just one-dimensional anymore, So I think sometimes you got to think outside the box with that. But that's just my thoughts.
That could be a big advantage for Hillsboro coming into the final stretch too, because you've got Festus, they've got Bates, obviously, Windsor, you got Noah Barnes. Those are kind of the big guys for them. When it comes to Hillsboro, sure, you have Robinson that is like 6'13", I think, down there.
6'13",
and he's he's just a big dude down there. But you also have Luca Poole. He was our player of the game last night. You got Sutton, who is kind of their main point getter. But with those 3, it kind of eases the pressure on everyone. It's like, okay, we don't have one guy that almost feels like he needs to be the guy every single night and kind of pass it off if one guy's feeling it better than the other.
Yeah.
And that could be a big advantage for Hillsborough coming down the stretch then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I would say, I watched the game last night. I wasn't able to be there, but watching it, and, Ray, you talked about the end of the game, and you saw Hillsborough knew they were trying to get Bates the ball. I mean, everybody in the gym, and rightfully so. Like, I mean, you said it, the kid's amazing. There's nothing, you want the ball in his hands in that time, but you've got someone like Drew Johnson, who you mentioned, who is an adequate scorer. He's top 6 in free throw percentage. So if nothing else, trying to get him to the line in that moment, he's going to make his shots.
Right.
And so you get an opportunity to take the lead that way. And I think, and this is just my opinion, I wasn't in the coaching huddle or anything like that, but I think you just played it a little too passive there at the end of the game if you're Festus, because you were hammered down the whole game.
Sure.
And you were neck and neck, and I think you even built some leads throughout that game because of just that grittiness, fast-pacedness. And so to get away with it, or away from it there at the end of the game and just kind of try and slow it down, you really, I think, played into Hillsborough's hands at that point, and then ultimately we saw at the end of overtime kind of the same thing. It gets away from them. But I'm really looking forward to this next matchup.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's time to move on to our top fives. Top 5, JCAA top 5. We're going to start with the small school girls, and I'm going to take these out of the way here. Here are the small school girls right now. As of this week, Brooke Blankenship still on top, 15.4 points a game. Catherine Wakeland makes a big jump from 4th to 2nd, 13.3 points on the season right now. Jillian Jarvis at 12.9 points. Lexi Walker coming up there also, 12.6 points. And P.J. Krodinger dropping a little bit there, 11.9 points. So
you think the league is, just like make someone else besides Krodinger beat you?
Could be. You never know. I mean, hey, I'd be looking at Brooke Blankenship. How do we stop her too? At this point. So
that may be why she's elevated now.
Stevie Holdinghausen was at the game last night out at Festus. Kind of watching. I said, what's that going to look like? She goes, I got my hands full. I got a lot of homework to do on that. So I know that she's trying to put something together to stop both those kiddos. Let's move over to the large school girls. Ashley Hilton, of course. Hiltonsboro there. Ashley Hilton at 18.3. Kaylee Hilton at 13.2. Adriana Mancuso, been the top 3 there, 12.4. Alyssa Rock at 11.8. Those have been the top 4 the past 2 or 3 episodes here. Sierra McDonald jumps in, and she's now 5th in the area here at 10.4 points on the season.
Repping the Tigers.
Repping the Tigers. Thoughts on that, guys?
More of the same. I mean, how many more accolades can you pile on the Hilton sisters? I mean, and I'm not saying that condescending. I mean, they have earned it. They have done the work.
Right.
And they're both very talented, and the team chemistry they have is just going to keep elevating them.
There you go. All right. Moving on. Let's go over to the boys' side. Nate Breeze on top, 22.8 points on the season. John Whitman there from St. Pius X, 18.5 points. Weston Hopper makes a big jump, 17.2 points from your Grandview Eagles. There you go. Cannon Bolton from Crystal City, 15.1 points on the season. And Caleb Weiler coming in, 14.8 points. He's a new one to the list here.
Tough working kid. Him and the chemistry between him and Breeze is, to see it in person is so much fun.
Yep. Good stuff. All right, moving on to the large school top 5. Let me get rid of that there real quick. Thank you. And the large school top 5. Colin Diebold from Seckman, still at 23.4, but you see Stefan Higgins over there from Northwest, 22.3. He is inching so close to that number 1 spot. Noah Cash Barnes, he's starting to get up there as well, 19.3 points. Hayden Bates at 16.3. Dominic Sutton making a new spot here at 15.1 points. And, spreading the love around here. We've got 5 different schools from all over the place here.
And top to bottom here, we've gotten to see, live stream all games for these teams, and every one of these players is definitely a polished product, and you can definitely tell well coached.
Yeah, absolutely. Any thoughts there, guys? Last
well, I think
thoughts?
especially with these 5, you could probably make an all-star team out of these 5. I'd probably want to put them up against any team in any county here in the entire state.
Our live stream STL Dream Team. There you
and
go.
The best thing, especially with like Hayden Bates, Stefan Higgins, I know Noah Barnes is a little on the smaller side, but these guys can play defense with the best of them too. They're just up and down the floor, great on both sides of the ball. Just really fun to watch.
What would it be like to have Stephon Higgins and Colin Debo together? Oh, my goodness, right?
Jeez.
They're both averaging 22 and 23. Holy
A lot of
moly.
points.
Right, lots and lots of points. All right, we're going to wrap this segment up here, and we will be back here in just a minute. We are going to have our Ask the Professor segment. We're going to catch up. You got a timeout? You calling a timeout on me?
Yeah, I'm calling a timeout on you.
What's going on?
Don't we? I'll ask you at the break. I was going to do a little breeze math, and I was
Breeze math.
yeah.
We'll come back with some breeze math here from Scotty. How about that? All right, we'll be right back here. This is Fast Break.
The Jefferson County Tourism Commission invites you to explore the natural beauty, fine dining, parks, wineries and breweries, scenic drives, historic sites, and even a local raceway. All this and so much more. All these things can be found right here in Jefferson County, Missouri. Plan your trip today at visitjeffersoncounty.com, the main source for all things Jefferson County.
Hey, y'all, it's Jeff from Case and Bucks. Thanks for watching the games today. We appreciate all your business all year long. Don't forget, we've got awesome wings, we got amazing burgers, we got salads like you wouldn't believe. Come check us out. We have barbecue on Thursdays. We have Southern Nights on Wednesdays. We've got bingo on Tuesdays. We can't wait to see you all. Thanks a bunch, and we look forward to having a great summer with y'all.
All right, we're back. I like our music. We had that music from 2 years ago, and Coach Lee Richardson was the one that kind of picked that out, I think, and he's like, kind of like that. And I was like, I'm glad I found that because it's some good stuff here. And again, thanks for being with us. Again, we're trying this new thing with questions and answers. If you're out there on Facebook right now, upcoming matchup interests, type it in. We'd love to have you. We'll give you a shout out if you do. And what games have you seen so far and you enjoyed? Definitely last night's game was a great one. Get in there in the comments on Facebook and we'll give you a little shout out here. We've got a way to do that. So there's a handful of folks here on the Facebook waves, but it's about time to do our Ask the Professor segment. And with the Ask the Professor segment, we've had to pull an audible this week, so here
now
it is.
Time for our Fast Break Ask the Professor segment here, and obviously this is not the professor of Coachonomics, but it is our good friend Jason Jarvis. How you doing, Jason?
Doing great.
Yeah, he's out on assignment, Coach Lee Richardson. So we thought we'd bring in the next best professor here in Coach Coach Jarvis here. So I got a couple questions here for you. It's our Ask the Professor segment, and here we go with our first question. It is: as a coach, what are your thoughts on players' individual rituals for free throws, flips, spins, low dribbles, etc.?
Well, I had a pretty good Coach Struberg when I was at Festus. He taught us a pretty simple ritual, and that's what I used the whole time I ever shot free throws. And it was, I dribbled 3 times, and I said in my head, over the rim, back spin, follow through. And so if I have a kid that's struggling or a kid that asks, I say, hey, this is mine. But whatever you decide to do, whether it's one dribble, spin, whatever, it needs to be every time that you shoot a free throw. It needs to be habit and do it every time. I think my daughter does one dribble. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's going up. So some coaches believe it's less thought, better. Yeah. I mean, for me, I love the 3 dribbles and saying that in my head.
I did the same thing. I was 3 dribbles. I would spin the ball. I would find the middle of the ball with the actual like little black part where they put the air in. I put that right on my middle finger, and that's exactly where I would shoot it every time. So I get it. The
And
ritual is important.
you definitely want to find the nail, and that's where I always put my foot. And then I just 1, 2, 3, and shoot it up there.
There you go. There you go. Good answer there. Question number 2. As you're highly aware, Coach, a player's feet and footwork are the building blocks for their entire game. What should a player look for in their footwear? I'm going to throw up the question here. In their footwear for games and practices, should they have a different pair for practices versus games, like same brand but new ones in practice and old reliable for or broken down ones in games?
I would not want to wear a brand new pair every time I played, or like had a new pair for games versus practice. A lot of kids, they get one pair of shoes and that's their season, and that's not a bad idea. But if you can get 2 pairs, I would at least have 2 pairs every season. And then like my son, halfway through the season last year, I got Dylan another pair because his was wearing out. I got a couple kids they'll just, some kids are tougher on shoes than others.
Yeah.
I mean, the brand I would lean towards is Nike. I mean, it's always been the brand that I think is the best for basketball. And I would lean to that brand. And the thing I don't like about basketball shoes now, when we were in school, they had high tops, right?
Yep.
They protected your ankle. These kids are wearing mid or low.
Yep.
And then they have to wear an ankle brace on top of it. Why not just get higher shoes? So to me, I would get shoes that are going to protect my ankles too, because footwork's very important.
There you go. There you go. Question number 3. Some skilled players can fall into the habit of their game breaking down into a schoolyard vibe if they feel like they can only rely on themselves. What are some 2 or 3 player drill players can practice to build chemistry and anticipation?
Well, I've watched a lot of trainers, Stefan Martinez down south, and Dalen Parks, and you always want to put kids in situations, in my opinion, that they have to make decisions. And it's nice if you can do it with teammates. I do a drill, it's called Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have 3 players, 1 defender, 2 offensive players, and they line up at the elbows, and the defensive player throws one of the guys the ball, and then they're attacking the hoop. And you only get 1 pass. And so it gives you, game-like situations. Everything I try to do now is game-like, because kids are having to make decisions in quick seconds in a game, and I like to do that in practice too. And especially, you get certain groups of players working together. You can get a post and a guard and get practice on intros and stuff like that. So try to set it up game-like as much as possible.
There you go. I like it. Good answer there, Coach. Last question for you. How can a developing player build greater shooting range into their game?
Yeah, one thing I always tell my players, and it's hard. First thing they want to shoot, you probably can figure it out when they walk in the gym, is what? The 3.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you got to start close, get warmed up. But to improve your range, one thing I've noticed, kids don't always want to use their legs when they shoot. And the further out you shoot, you're probably going to have to use your legs more. But I think the weight room is really important, especially nowadays. You need to get in the weight room and develop your plyos and all those things. And, I think practice makes perfect. You just get up as many shots as you can, but you want them to be game-like shots. You don't want to be able to just sit there and set and take 5 seconds to get the shot off. Because in the varsity game, you don't get 5 seconds. You catch the ball, and you're a shooter, you better be ready to shoot as soon as you catch it.
Right. Good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate the time, and good luck to you the rest of the way here, and I'm sure we'll see you down the road.
Well, let's hope so. Hopefully we can make some noise at the end of the season.
There you go. Coach Jason Jarvis of the Herculaneum Black Cats.
right. Hey, good little segment there with Coach Jason Jarvis jumping in with us real quick as we transition over to, it is now time for our pick and roll segment here. Guys, we've got we got a lot of videos here. Next to video our video base, but we caught up with Sean Breeze, coach of the Jefferson Blue Jays, and pretty cool little pick and roll segment. So here
it is now time for our fast break segment here, the pick and roll, where we pick a coach and the coach gets to roll with our questions here. So we've got Coach Sean Breeze here from the Jefferson Blue Jays. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Hey, appreciate it. Man, you guys are having a heck of a season this year. The Blue Jays team has been so much fun to watch this season. Can you talk a little bit about the great chemistry your team's been having so far?
Yeah, they really have. They've, we started out, a little choppy there, but boy, after we lost our first game in the Christmas tournament, and after that, the kids really kind of all got together and they said, we know that we're better than this, and they've gone on a really long winning streak ever since then. Really easy to coach this bunch of kids. They're very coachable. They all get along, they're friends. So it really, sometimes I just kind of probably need to stay out of the way.
I get it. There's no secret that Nate Breeze, that is your nephew there, he's having a special season, so far, and his talent, the poise, the presence seems to help elevate his teammates around him. How satisfying is it to get a front row seat as a coach and uncle to watch his high school career unfold right now?
Well, as a coach, it spoils you a little bit. Whenever you've got that guy that can do that stuff and do as much as he does. He can handle the ball, he can play inside, he can shoot the ball, and he's got some of the best hands defensively of any player that I've ever coached, maybe the best, I don't know. But he is a special player. You don't have a lot of guys that are as well rounded as he is. As a coach and as his uncle, I think maybe one of the things I'm most impressed with him this year is his confidence level. His confidence last year was, sometimes it was there, sometimes not. But this year, I think you've really seen him take that next step, that he knows what he can do, and he gets out and he gets very determined. And I've not had to. Last year, there were a few times I had to try to, get him out there and make him comfortable. And this year, he's going with it. And whenever he got had a couple good games early, that really kind of seemed to kickstart him. And it's been fun to watch. He's a pleasure to have. And like I said, as a coach, you kind of get spoiled because sometimes the plan is just throw it to Nate.
Yeah, I get it. Exactly. Most teams live and die with their starters production, but you've gotten great minutes, points, and defense out of your next wave of off the bench. How great a luxury has that been this season to know if your starters get into foul trouble or struggle offensively, that there's a solid next man up?
It's huge. It's so important, and coaches know that. You have to have depth whenever you're scouting teams. That's one of the first things that you'll notice is how deep the team is. And you're right. We have just had it's been the next guy. We have a lot of guys that do a lot of different things well, and so it's just about kind of plugging the guys in the right hole. But the difference has actually been the players. There are no selfish kids on this team, and sometimes they play more in a game or less in a game. It's not a big deal. They're all on the same page. The goal is team goals, and being able to have those guys to step in times of foul trouble, things like that. That's extremely important.
Exactly. Over the last several years here, Blue Jay Athletics has been a complete family affair to strengthen the fabric of the programs with yourself, Drew, Nate, Alex. You've got Mama Breeze there to Nate there, the Breeze family, the Breeze Dental Care, they're sponsoring us from time to time here. Are you able to step back from a moment here and there to soak up the experience and family within a family dynamic?
Yeah, I have, and that's not lost on me. It's a very unique situation when you think about it. In addition to those you named, there was also Lucas Breeze and Will Breeze too, and so it's really been unique. And there's been a lot of family around a lot of times at all these events. I don't know that that's always the best thing in the world. It's made for some interesting Thanksgiving dinner conversations and things
I
like that.
bet.
But yeah, no, I have really enjoyed it, and I'll be sad to see it go. But at the same time, it's I've been real proud of the boys and the way that they've handled it. It's really hard for them. I would imagine, I didn't do it, but to have to address me as coach in the gym and dad or their uncle outside of it.
Right.
But they've done a great job, and they have made this very easy on me. My family's made it very easy on me, and it has been really neat. It's been a really, really neat experience, and we hope to keep going here just a little bit longer.
There you go. I appreciate the kind of intimate answer there, because that's pretty cool, because you just don't get that all the time with, I've seen a lot of coaches with their kids, but it's usually just one or two, but you've had, just a plethora of breezes come through there at R7, and I'm sure that's been a treat. But Sean, we appreciate catching up with you, and good luck the rest of the way here, and I'm sure we'll see you down the road.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks so much for having me, Ray.
Appreciate it. That's Sean Breeze from the Jefferson Blue Jays basketball team.
That was awesome.
Great interview.
Yeah, catching up with those guys. And as we wrap today up here, we're going to crown our player of the week. And let me set that all up here real quick. There it is. Player of the week with his 1,000th point this week. And we had two 1,000 points on the same night within about 15 minutes of each other.
Wow.
Kaylee or Ashley?
Kaylee
Hilton. She had 1,000 points, but we were at the game of Nate Breeze. So we're going to give that player of the week to Nate Breeze, but not to take anything away from Kaylee. Golly, right. She's having a heck of a season as well. But this week's our player of the game here is Nate Breeze, and this is the interview and a little bit of the footage of him shooting and scoring that 1,000th point.
Throw it back behind the timeline, so Breeze crosses back over once again now with 13 and counting. Schnitzler up top, over there to Burford. Back over to Schnitzler once again now. 5 seconds left to go. Down low to Breeze. Gets it off the panel and in, and that will do it. And a timeout called as Mr. Breeze has just knocked down point number 1,000. So right now with 2.3 left to go in quarter number 3, we'll let the crowd dictate the play right now.
We've seen him play a couple of seasons here, and especially these last two seasons here. My gosh, just been a dominant force here for the Blue Jays.
That he has, Ray. And you know what? And again, with that broken finger that he had, that broken pinky, and all the screws and the metal that was put into that thing. I mean, and not only to come back to finish out the football season as well, and then now to transition that over into basketball where, I mean, once again, no gloves or anything you can wear out there on the court. I mean, it's that and the ball.
It is now time for the APB Storage post-game show, and we have none other than the 1,000-plus point person tonight, and that is going to be Mr. Nate Breeze. You got the interview here, Matthew.
Well, before we get to all of that pomp and circumstance with that, can you talk to me real quick about the job that Mr. Weiler had out there with you as well?
He was told tonight that he could do a lot more down there because they didn't really have anybody to match up with him, and he did his part. He rebounded hard. I don't know how many rebounds he had, but I know he had a lot. And he was finishing at the rim and just did his job really well tonight.
You had Burford out there knocking 11 down tonight. Doesn't even really average a point a game. He's not saying he's out there for window dressing. I mean, I saw him over on the football field. He gets around, knocks down 11 tonight. You guys you know, in a game where you win by 40, you know, had a lot of love going around tonight.
Yes, sir, we did. And I've been telling them all week. I keep telling Burf especially. I keep telling him and Max, if you guys get down the floor, I'll find you. So will Caleb. And I think we really took a step up in transition tonight. We were just playing a step ahead of them all night, and I feel like that kind of gave us the lead early.
Speaking of your transition game, we were talking about that during the broadcast. It seemed like the last man that was hanging back. You get back, possession changes, we're just throwing it long range. So it wasn't like one set player, but it just seemed like the designated player that was getting that long pass was like the last man, I guess, to turn the lights off, right?
Yes, sir. That's what I've been telling them. Like I said, that's how it works. And we found the guys, and they were making layups, except for Max, obviously, and everything else just fell into line, and it worked.
Well, I know this is senior night. I know it's not the final game, but I just want to tell you, young man, been watching you the last few years, and the word we used tonight was unselfish. You know, you could have gone for like 1,050 points tonight. The rim wasn't kind to you, but you also don't get to the top 30 in the area in assists by not showing some love to the teammates as well too. And so for a guy that, you know, can do his business putting the ball through the bucket, you also spread the love as well too. And I think that's what an ultimate teammate is. And so we've got another $10 for you. I mean, these are stockpiling on you. So, yeah. You know, not just a jumbo burger. Go grab you a Coney dog as well too.
Of course.
Nate, you know, once again, you know the drill. You've got camera over there. You want to give a shout out, or you know what, or you just, if you want to tell us about the game tonight as well too. I mean, right now the floor is yours.
I was going to shout out my mom again. She was here. She's still my biggest fan, so I love my mom always.
Mama Breeze.
There
Mama
you go.
Breeze.
There you go.
Well, Nate, once again, man, 1,000 points. That's a tough feat. And on deck, you've got a couple other records that we went through tonight. You know, you're close to the all-time assist leader as well too. It seems, again, right, that goes back to just the character.
Right.
You know, you can have a guy who hits home runs every at bat, but that, you know, never spreads the love around.
Right.
This guy here, class act. Nate Breeze, well done again tonight, sir.
Thank you.
And there you go, Nate Breeze, our player of the week, and well-deserved 1,000 points. Congratulations. And that's all we got for today, this week.
Is it really?
Is it? Do we have more?
I think we might just have a smidge more.
What more?
All right. Well, first of all, on the socials, you know, ask you for some upcoming games you might want to see. I've got games noted here, boys.
Okay, go ahead.
Festus in Hillsborough, the rematch on February 12th. On the girls' side, obviously you've got Jefferson and St. Pius. That's going to be a big one. Lutheran South and Principia.
Okay, I like that
and then you got Windsor and Seckman. So just a couple of games to look forward to.
There you go. Look at you pulling them out there.
Yeah, right. And then we can cap off this show with a segment I like to call Fast Drake.
Oh, no.
Fast Drake.
I do not know anything about
I
this.
forgot about this.
This will be quick.
All right.
Oh, no.
So we're going to ask.
Let me turn the music off so it doesn't distract him.
We're going to ask these
nervous.
two. These are easy. These are softball questions.
Okay.
Softball questions.
So we're going to alternate back and forth. I'm going to ask you the school, and I'm going to ask you their mascot.
Okay.
All right. We're going to start first with Mr. Kaplinger.
Uh-oh.
Eureka.
It's the Tigers, right? Wildcats. Dang it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Wildcats.
I knew it was a Tiger.
I knew that one.
Drake.
Yes.
Lutheran South.
They are Lancers as well.
Correct.
Oh, look at you. Stealing it.
All right. Kaplinger.
All right.
Afton.
Man, I want to say Tigers on this one.
Close. It is a cat.
It is a Cougar.
Oh, okay.
Cool guys.
I would have guessed
I'm
Wildcat,
failing.
too.
I'm
No,
failing
I
on
was
that.
right there with you.
That's
All
on
right.
me.
Hey, it's still early. Got a chance here. All right. Drake. Lutheran North.
With the North. What's the opposite of a Lancer?
The
A
opposite
horse.
of a Lancer?
A horse.
It's not the horses.
Is that your final
The
answer?
thoroughbred.
I don't have a clue, so
It
that
is
is my
the-
final answer.
The
Crusaders.
thoroughbreds.
The Crusaders. I wanted
All right.
to say Cavaliers, but I knew I was wrong
See,
on that one. But
see,
I
you're
was
back
close.
in the game,
That's
Cap.
right.
All right.
That's great.
Mr. Kaplinger. North County.
Oh, I know it. Like, I can see it. Now I just can't think of it. So you put me on the spot.
Can I give him a hint?
Is it? I know it's
There's
not
a
North.
team.
It's the Lions, isn't it? No.
It is not.
Dang it.
There's a team that's their city is hosting the Super Bowl.
Oh, the Raiders. That's
The Raiders.
it. That's
The
it.
Raiders.
See, you thought these were all going to be easy, right?
They're not.
All right, back to Drake. Drake, Pacific.
Indians.
Yeah, there you
Nailed
go.
it.
I only know that because we did a football and a basketball game when they were there. So,
Nice.
but I'll
Stay
take
away
it.
from the local ones, and you'll lose me because I just remember the first names, just the
Exactly.
cities.
Right.
All right, final two for each of you. Mr. Kaplinger, Fox.
Oh, I can see it. It's red.
I know this one. I do know this one.
It's the Warriors.
You were correct.
Very good.
Ding,
I almost
ding.
said Indians, but I was like, I know that's
I was
not
ready.
right.
I was ready to
knew
steal that
wasn't
one.
Right.
Both my parents went to Fox, so I knew that one instantly.
All right, Beak, Oakville.
They are the Oakville. Shoot. I can see him in.
I
in
know this
Oakville.
one now.
I want to say. I'm between the Owls and Tigers, but those are both answers already. I'm going to say Tigers.
Tigers is correct.
That's right. That's where I was getting mixed up.
Thank
All
goodness.
right.
Because I did the
Good
Eureka
work, gentlemen.
Oakville game.
Yes,
All right.
there you go.
Here is the finale. Mr. Kaplinger, Bishop to Berg.
The Cavaliers.
Yes.
There
Nailed
it
it.
is.
I'm on that one.
All right. And Drake, Bayless.
Shoot.
I got it.
Because they were at the Bruce Thomas tournament at Herky as well, so
Yes,
I
they were.
I should know it. Because they played a Hampton.
So
or
what's the
Hamilton?
opposite of a crusader? A horse.
Yeah.
He's giving you a big hint there.
That's a big
Oh,
one. It's the
man.
Broncos, my friend.
the
There it
Broncos.
is.
It is the
There
Broncos, and that is all
I
I've
would not
got.
have got that.
Hey,
That was fun. I enjoyed that.
good spirits here by the guys. They put up with me, so I appreciate that. They humored me.
We need to do that every week now.
Okay.
All right.
Every show.
Got to find
I
some
enjoyed that.
trivia questions.
Uh-oh.
Local sports trivia.
Challenge
Uh-oh.
accepted.
Okay. All right.
Scott's pretty good with trivia.
Better do
I
some
know.
studying.
I'm just going to say. So, yeah.
Put myself out there now. I'm in
The
trouble.
mascot
Yeah, we're in
challenge.
trouble now.
Interesting. I completely forgot that you had that set up, but yeah.
That
That's good.
Yeah,
that
was
was good.
fun.
That was good. It gives us our intelligence level of being announcers here, right? It's like, okay, so who are we calling today? You know, because it's like, you know, it's one thing to get the kids' names right, but man, sometimes you totally do walk and you walk into someplace and you forget the names of the schools. You know, so I get it. Interesting. Well, now we wrap up Winter Breeze. Now we're done, right, Scotty?
Correct.
Just making
Well,
sure.
actually, I've got a segment called Fast Scott.
Oh, he's got jokes, folks. He's got jokes. There you go. I
Don't
love it.
forget
Love
to
it,
tip
love
your waitresses here at
That's
Case
right.
and Bucks.
it. And we're going to have a little bit of that here shortly here. If you haven't been out to Case and Bucks, by the way, thank you, Case and Bucks, for having us here. If you haven't been out here to Case and Bucks, do check it out in Barnhart. I know Kathy just walked in the door. She's about to start her shift. She would love to see you here. So come on out to Case and Bucks in Barnhart. For Ray Halbrook, for Scotty Lotta, for Drake Beekman, and Brian Kaplinger, the B-Cap. All of us here at Fast Break. We appreciate you being with us. We'll see you in a couple weeks here. Thanks again for watching Fast Break. Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.